All right.
Okay, I'm James Potter in Harvey, Illinois, and we're speaking with Nathaniel Banks in Champaign, Illinois. I'm an independent businessman and producer, and Nathaniel can tell you a little bit about himself.
Well, I'm a Bible teacher, retired from my job at the University of Illinois, but my primary focus is to bring the word of the Most High that He has given to me so that other people can know the same things that I know.
And one of the things that has really struck me this year is that we seem to be in the end times, the end times or at least in the spirit of the end times, according to the Bible, with all of the things happening around the world. And one of the things that strikes me is that we are God's chosen people, and I say we, I mean us, the black folks here in the Western Hemisphere who came through the transatlantic slave trade. And Nathaniel, he's going to explain to us and teach on this subject matter for a little while as to why that's so.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can pull some things up here. Hopefully you can see this map. This is going to be a really quick overview of something that's been happening over thousands of years. As you said, and as I also believe, that the people in North America, Central America, South America, who came here against our will are actually the people that we would refer to as Hebrews. And so this first map that I have here is just sort of an example of what we're looking at. This map is a map of the Roman Empire as it existed in 70 AD. And as you can see, right in the area where Jerusalem is, when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem because of the people of God not receiving Yeshua or Jesus as their Messiah, and they destroyed that city, the people who were not destroyed would not have gone up north because the Romans were already up there. What they would have done is to go south, either southwest or southeast. And really, that's exactly what they did. So the people that we call Jews, or the people who were the children of Israel, actually went, if you look at this map, they went down in this area in Arabia, and then they also came down into Egypt. And then finally, by the Niger River, they found themselves here. Now, the reason why that's important for us to understand is because when we start looking at what biblical principles are, we should stop looking at those biblical principles as if they don't have any relevance for us as what we call Black people. I also wanted it's kind of hard to see this, but this is a map from 1747, and it's called the Africa of Emmanuel Bowen. In other words, he was one of the cartographers that drew this map. And if you can,
what nationality was he? Excuse me, but what nationality?
He's a European. And the maps that I'm showing you are all maps that were drawn by Europeans.
Okay.
But in this map, he calls this area here Negro land. Negro land. And
wow,
that's really important because that's different than the land of Egypt And I'll show you another one. Let me see if I can find this other one. Oh yeah, here it is. According to Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Now, hopefully some of this stuff it will make sense as we have further videos. But Black people think that we came from Ham because that's what white people have told us. Okay, just as a quick review for those of you who already know this stuff, and for those of you who don't, all of the world was divided in Genesis after Noah came off the ark. He had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. It has always been said that Black people are the descendants of Ham. But when you look up again, Ham, according to Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, which is again written by people of European ancestry, it says that Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably 96 years before the flood and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So that's why I wanted to show you that map that said Negro land. Our people are not descendants of Ham, they're descendants of Shem. And that's the people that were being referred to in this map called Negro land. So
well, let me tell you,
go ahead.
So that becomes important about this, excuse me, but that becomes important about the who Ham was, because this is how they're defining it even then.
Right.
Back then, and how it was breaking down, and we were under the impression that they always said, well, we always thought that the European version also that we're the descendants of Ham.
Exactly. And so therefore, and then the other part, which is also a myth that has been said, is that Ham was cursed. And actually Ham was not the one that was cursed. It was Ham's son Canaan that was cursed. But Ham's family pretty much lived in this area here. And then along in this area here, because Canaan was the progenitor of the Canaanites, and that's the group of people that were in the land of Israel when Moses and his people left Egypt. So, you know, there's a lot of history here, but the reason I'm bringing that up is because once the Romans attacked Jerusalem and destroyed Jerusalem, all of God's people that were not destroyed and that could went south and not north into Europe. And so eventually they went into this area here along the Niger River, which Niger also means black, by the way, along the Niger River, and they found themselves in this place called Negro land as the Europeans understood it. And if you look at other maps, it's there too, but what you can see is that this is the area where the so-called slave trade happened. This is I'll just show you this one other map. This is a blown up map of what you just saw right before this one. And right here, you'll see, this is a European map, and it says a new accurate map of Negro land, okay? Adjacent countries, also Upper Guinea. So if you look at that map, you'll see the Tooth Coast, you'll see the Gold Coast, and you'll see the Slave Coast. That's where our people came from. But if you look at the names that are here, you will see right here, Kingdom of Judah, or Ouida, which was the Slave Coast. So when the Europeans came and began the slave trade in the Americas, they were working with the indigenous people here who were not a part of the Kingdom of Judah. They were the ones that sold our people into slavery, and that's how we got to the southern part of America and Central America and North America. So,
So say that again. Then say that again. Who stole our people into slavery?
okay, there were people living in these lands before. I'll go back to this map. There were people, ethnic groups, nations living in these lands before the the tribe of Judah came into this area. It
So
was
let me say this. So then they were living there obviously before we got there. So we
right,
were kind of like migrants, kind of like
exactly.
like gypsies, gypsies or migrants on the move.
Yeah,
We really were not from that land.
yeah, that's right. And by the way, we also went up into this area too. You've heard of the Moors, for instance. Uh,
Yes.
Moor, by the way, means black. Okay, Mauritania is the area of the blacks. Okay, and it was the Moors that went up in here into Spain. So, but all of those people were children of Israel. They were what we would call Hebrew Israelites. And so the thing is, those people being chosen by the Most High had culture that they took with them, and it was the culture that actually raised all of these. I'm not saying it was only Jewish. I'm sorry, only Hebrew culture, but the people that came there were smart people, and they built civilizations. And the people around them were jealous of them. And so the same thing that happened over here when the people got jealous of the Israelites over here, it happened here too. But the reason why this is important is because all of this is in fulfillment of prophecy, because what the Father told our people in Deuteronomy, if you do what I've given you to do, then you're going to be blessed. You're going to be the head and not the tail. You're going to be above and not beneath. He put all of those things in us. But then he said, but if you don't do the things that I've given you to do, then all these plagues and all these curses are going to come on you. You're going to be the tail and not the head, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what has happened. So it doesn't matter where we go, we're always going to be hated. And when you think about black people across the planet, everybody hates black people, or the so-called Negro. And but we don't get why. And so what hopefully as our lessons continue, people will be able to see why that's the case. And a lot of it has to do with how we have decided not to follow the Most High and try to follow our own way. So that's in essence what I hope that we'll be able to talk about as we move forward.
Okay, well, most importantly, from to recap of what you spoke about in this lesson today, the slave trade then was built on the migrants, not from the slaves, not from the Africans who already inhabited that land.
Right.
They were okay, and that's the reason we were singled out for sale by the African people.
Yeah, exactly. A group of people does not sell itself into slavery. That has never happened. Okay, so
it never made sense to me.
Right. You always sell your enemies into slavery, which is exactly what they did. And even today, the Africans will tell you, and those of us who are studying this know this from studying African history as well. That's what happened. Because, I used to wonder, how could a handful of Europeans get that much control over the planet? And well, the way that they did that is they worked in concert with the people who were the so-called indigenous people in that area. But again, biblically and spiritually, that's not our home either. This is not our home. This is just where we were when we were running away from our home. So eventually, once we understand who we are, and so the message is, y'all, we need to wake up, okay? Because the Father in heaven has the same plan for us today as he did when this map was drawn. His plans for us is for good and not for evil, that we might have a future and a hope, but we got to do it his way. And that's why these studies are so important.
Well, it kind of sounds like everyone knows who we are except us, because that map was called Kingdom of Judah.
Right.
All right. which means that we are one of the one of the tribes of Israel.
Right. Right.
And so they know who we are. The Africans know who we are, but we black folks here in the United States, we definitely don't have the slightest idea about that.
No, we don't. And the people who run this country also know. That's why we're treated the way we are. And so that, we can get into that in other videos, but all of these things start to line up and make sense when you understand who God's people really are.
Well, this is a good place to end it. Everyone, please, we'll be having a series of videos explaining this, what's going on and who we are, so we have a better idea what's in store for us in the future. Please share this video on Facebook and on YouTube, and share with your friends and family. This is an exciting time for us in the history of this world, and for us to know who we are makes all the difference of how we read the Bible and know that the Bible is about us. Okay, and it's written. So there it is. This is Nathaniel Banks. Thank you very much, and you'll be taking us on this journey. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Blessings to you. Shalom to everyone else.